3 Days of Darkness Prophecies. Biblical prophecies. In scriptures, we find many references to days of darkness, the most familiar perhaps being the 9th plague that fell upon Pharaoh and the Egyptians during the time of Moses. But the Lord said to Moses, "Extend your hand toward heaven. And may there be darkness upon the land of Egypt, so dense that it may be felt." And Moses extended his hand toward heaven. And a horrible darkness occurred in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. No one saw his brother, nor moved himself from the place where he was. But wherever the sons of Israel lived, there was light. Exodus chapter 10 verses 21 to 23. The prophet Isaiah also spoke of a day of darkness. "Behold, the day of the Lord shall come, a cruel day, and full of indignation, and of wrath, and fury, to lay the land desolate, and to destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven, and their brightness shall not display their light. The sun shall be darkened in his rising, and the moon shall not shine with her light. And I will visit the evils of the world, and against the wicked for their iniquity, and I will make the pride of infidels cease, and will bring down the arrogancy of the mighty." Isaiah chapter 13 verses 9 to 11. From the New Testament, we also learn that a cloak of darkness enveloped the world when our Lord died on Calvary, as was recorded by the evangelists. Then from the 6th hour, there was darkness over the entire earth, until the 9th hour. Matthew chapter 27 verse 45. And when the 6th hour came, there was darkness throughout all the earth, until the 9th hour. Mark chapter 15 verse 33. But it was almost the 6th hour, and there was darkness in the entire earth, until the 9th hour. Luke chapter 23 verse 44. Blessed Anna Maria Tyga, 19th century, Italy. God will send 2 punishments. One will be in the form of wars, revolutions and other evils, it shall originate on earth. The other will be sent from heaven. There shall come over the whole earth an intense darkness lasting 3 days and 3 nights. Nothing can be seen, and the air will be laden with pestilence, which will claim mainly, but not only, the enemies of religion. It will be impossible to use any man-made lighting during this darkness, except blessed candles. He, who out of curiosity, opens his window to look out, or leaves his home, will fall dead on the spot. During these 3 days, people should remain in their homes, pray the rosary and beg God for mercy. All the enemies of the Church, whether known or unknown, will perish over the whole earth during that universal darkness, with the exception of a few whom God will soon convert. The air shall be infected by demons who will appear under all sorts of hideous forms. Religion shall be persecuted, and priests massacred, churches shall be closed, but only for a short time. The Holy Father shall be obliged to leave Rome. Venerable Elizabeth Canori Mora, 19th century, Italy. On Christmas, 1816, Blessed Elizabeth saw Our Lady, who appeared extremely sad. Upon inquiring why, Our Lady answered, "Behold, my daughter, such great ungodliness." Blessed Elizabeth then saw apostates brazenly trying to rip her most holy Son from her arms. Confronted with such an outrage, the Mother of God ceased to ask mercy for the world, and instead requested justice from the Eternal Father. Clothed in his inexorable justice and full of indignation, he turned to the world. At that moment all nature went into convulsions, the world lost its normal order and was filled with the most terrible calamity imaginable. This will be something so deplorable and atrocious that it will reduce the world to the ultimate depths of desolation. On the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, June 29, 1820, she saw Saint Peter descending from heaven, robed in papal vestments and surrounded by a legion of angels. With his crosier he drew a great cross over the face of the earth, separating it into 4 quadrants. In each of these quadrants, he then brought forth a tree, sprouting with new life. Each tree was in the shape of a cross and enveloped in magnificent light. All the good laity and religious fled for protection underneath these trees and were spared from the tremendous chastisement. Woe! Woe to those unobservant religious who despise their holy rules. They will all perish in the terrible chastisement together with all who give themselves to debauchery and follow the false maxims of their deplorable contemporary philosophy. The sky took on a morbid blue color which terrified everyone who looked at it. A dark wind blew everywhere. An impassioned and mournful shrieking filled the air, like the terrible roar of a fierce lion, and resounded all over the earth in blood-curdling echoes. All men and animals brimmed with terror. The entire world convulsed and everyone pitilessly slaughtered one another. When this bloody fight will arrive, the vengeful hand of God will weigh upon these fated ones, and with his omnipotence he will chastise the proud for their rashness and shameless insolence. God will use the powers of darkness to exterminate these sectarian, iniquitous and criminal men, who plot to eradicate the Catholic Church, our Holy Mother, by tearing her up by her deepest roots, and casting her on the ground. Prophetic vision of Sister Elena Aiello, founder of the Sister Minims, December 8, 1958. The times are grievous. The whole world is in turmoil because it has become worse than at the time of the deluge. Everything is in suspense, like a thread. When this thread breaks, the justice of God will fall like a thunderbolt and will complete its terrible course of purification. Marie-Julie Jahani. The 3 days of darkness will be on a Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Days of the Most Holy Sacrament, of the Cross and Our Lady, 3 days less 1 night. The earth will be covered in darkness, says Our Lady on 20th of September 1882, and hell will be loosed on earth. Thunder and lightning will cause those who have no faith or trust in my power, to die of fear. During these 3 days of terrifying darkness, no windows must be opened, because no one will be able to see the earth and the terrible color it will have in those days of punishment without dying at once. The sky will be on fire, the earth will split. During these 3 days of darkness let the blessed candle be lighted everywhere, no other light will shine. Blessed Gaspar del Bufalo. The death of the impenitent persecutors of the Church will take place during the 3 days of darkness. He who outlives the darkness and the fear of these 3 days will think that he is alone on earth because the whole world will be covered with carcasses. Mary of Jesus crucified. All states will be shaken by war and civil conflict. During a darkness lasting 3 days the people given to evil ways will perish so that only 1/4 of mankind will survive. Sister Palma Maria de Oria. There shall be 3 days of darkness, during which the atmosphere will be infected by innumerable devils, who will cause the death of large multitudes of unbelievers and wicked men. Blessed candles alone shall be able to give light and preserve the faithful Catholics from this impending dreadful scourge. Supernatural prodigies shall appear in the heavens. There is to be a short but furious war, during which the enemies of religion and of mankind shall be universally destroyed. A general purification of the world, and the universal triumph of the Church are to follow. Padre Pio. January 28, 1950. Keep your windows well covered. Do not look out. Light a blessed candle, which will suffice for many days. Pray the Rosary. Read spiritual books. Make acts of spiritual communion, also acts of love, which are so pleasing to us. Pray with outstretched arms, or prostrate on the ground, in order that many souls may be saved. Do not go outside the house. Provide yourself with sufficient food. The powers of nature shall be moved and a rain of fire shall make people tremble with fear. Have courage. I am in the midst of you. February 7, 1950. Take care of the animals during these days. I am the creator and preserver of all animals as well as man. I shall give you a few signs beforehand, at which time you should place more food before them. I will preserve the property of the elect, including the animals, for they shall be in need of sustenance afterwards as well. Let no one go across the yard, even to feed the animals. He who steps outside will perish. Cover your windows carefully. My elect shall not see my wrath. Have confidence in me, and I will be your protection. Your confidence obliges me to come to your aid. The hour of my coming is near. But I will show mercy. A most dreadful punishment will bear witness to the times. My angels, who are to be the executioners of this work, are ready with their pointed swords. They will take special care to annihilate all those who mocked me and would not believe in my revelations. Hurricanes of fire will pour forth from the clouds and spread over the entire earth. Storms, bad weather, thunderbolts and earthquakes will cover the earth for 2 days. An uninterrupted rain of fire will take place. It will begin during a very cold night. All this is to prove that God is the master of creation. Those who hope in me, and believe in my words, have nothing to fear because I will not forsake them, nor those who spread my message. No harm will come to those who are in the state of grace and who seek my mother's protection. That you may be prepared for these visitations, I will give you the following signs and instructions. The night will be very cold. The wind will roar. After a time, thunderbolts will be heard. Lock all the doors and windows. Talk to no one outside the house. Kneel down before a crucifix, be sorry for your sins, and beg my mother's protection. Do not look during the earthquake, because the anger of God is holy. Jesus does not want us to behold the anger of God, because God's anger must be contemplated with fear and trembling. Those who disregard this advice will be killed instantly. The wind will carry with it poisonous gases which will be diffused over the entire earth. Those who suffer and die innocently will be martyrs, and they will be with me in my kingdom. Satan will triumph. But after 3 nights, the earthquake and fire will cease. On the following day the sun will shine again. Angels will descend from heaven and will spread the spirit of peace over the earth. A feeling of immeasurable gratitude will take possession of those who survive this terrible ordeal, the impending punishment with which God has visited the earth since creation. I have chosen souls in other countries too, such as Belgium, Switzerland, Spain, who have received these revelations so that other countries also may be prepared. Pray much during this holy year of 1950. Pray the Rosary, but pray it well, so that your prayers may reach heaven. Soon a more terrible catastrophe shall come upon the entire world, such as never before has been witnessed, a terrible chastisement never before experienced. The War of 1950 shall be the introduction to these things. How unconcerned men are regarding these things, which shall so soon come upon them, contrary to all expectations. How indifferent they are in preparing themselves for these unheard-of events, through which they will have to pass so shortly. The weight of the divine balance has reached the earth. The wrath of my Father shall be poured out over the entire world. I am again warning the world through your instrumentality, as I have so often done heretofore. The sins of men have multiplied beyond measure. irreverence in church, sinful pride committed in sham religious activities, lack of true brotherly love, indecency in dress, especially at summer seasons. The world is filled with iniquity. This catastrophe shall come upon the earth like a flash of lightning, at which moment the light of the morning sun shall be replaced by black darkness. No one shall leave the house or look out of a window from that moment on. I myself shall come amidst thunder and lightning. The wicked shall behold my divine heart. There shall be great confusion because of this utter darkness in which the entire earth shall be enveloped, and many, many shall die from fear and despair. Those who shall fight for my cause shall receive grace from my divine heart, and the cry, "Who is like unto God?" shall serve as a means of protection to many. However, many shall burn in the open fields like withered grass. The godless shall be annihilated, so that afterwards the just shall be able to stand afresh. On the day, as soon as complete darkness has set in, no one shall leave the house or look from out of the window. The darkness shall last a day and a night, followed by another day and a night, and another day, but on the night following, the stars will shine again, and on the next morning the sun shall rise again, and it will be springtime. In the days of darkness, my elect shall not sleep, as did the disciples in the Garden of Olives. They shall pray incessantly, and they shall not be disappointed in me. I shall gather my elect. Hell will believe itself to be in possession of the entire earth, but I shall reclaim it. Do you, perhaps, think that I would permit my Father to have such terrible chastisements come upon the world, if the world would turn from iniquity to justice? But because of my great love, these afflictions shall be permitted to come upon man. Although many shall curse me, yet thousands of souls shall be saved through them. No human understanding can fathom the depth of my love. Pray, pray. I desire your prayers. My dear Mother Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint Elizabeth, Saint Conrad, Saint Michael, Saint Peter, the little Therese, your holy angels, shall be your intercessors. Implore their aid. Be courageous soldiers of Christ. At the return of light, let everyone give thanks to the Holy Trinity for their protection. The devastation shall be very great. But I, your God, will have purified the earth. I am with you. Have confidence. Links are in the video description.